All right, welcome back for Chapter 6 of Lawn Boy. Economic expansion combined with portfolio diversification. 2 weeks passed. 14 days passed. 336 hours flew by. 20,160 minutes whistled past. 12,096,000 seconds roared away. Numbers, all numbers. And that's what happened to the time. It turned into numbers. In the beginning, I had a routine. I got up early, had some cereal before my parents even woke up, grabbed a gallon jug of water from the fridge, and packed a bag of lunch that I'd eat on the back of the mower while I was working. There was never any time to stop for lunch, so I got a good at eating and mowing. Then left for the house to start work. First, I checked the oil in the mower. Pasquale showed me how to do it, and because it's an old engine, it needs a fair amount of oil. Then I added oil if it needed it, filling it with gas, and headed off down the street to Arnold's house, where I met Lewis, a thin man with a small pickup. For 2 weeks, we loaded my mower on a small trailer. He pulled up behind the pickup and headed to our latest jobs. And at the end of the day, we went back to Arnold's, and I would ride my mower home and fall into bed until the next morning. Lewis and I were doing 3 lawns a day each, with Pasquale coming to work in the evening and early morning to do edge work and cleanup. One night I stayed late to talk to Pasquale. "We can't help it," I said. "We're locked into a ginormous number of lawns now, once a week, and I'm having to turn more people down." "No," Pasquale shook his head. "Don't turn any work away. Soon the summer will pass, the grass will be gone, and all the work will fly away. We must make our lives while the summer is here. I know someone, Benny. He has a truck, and he'll come tomorrow morning. I have another cousin who can help me at night, and others. If you get more jobs, but you must not turn work down." And so I went on adding lawns. I kept track of them in a little notebook. Then I bought a larger one and wrote down the names, addresses, and date mowed, so there was some order. Then I got jobs to do shrub trimming and pool cleaning and sidewalk edging and garage cleaning, and there were more and more people working away. One morning I arrived at Arnold's, putt-putting down the edge of the road on my grandfather's old mower, and there were 4 pickups and 12 people waiting there for me, and I thought, my, Pasquale has a large family. And it was only the last week in June, but I really didn't think of much besides keeping track of the new jobs in my notebook and recutting the lawns that came due and collecting the money and handing it over to Arnold. He put aside my percentage and gave the rest to Pasquale when he came to work at night. Pasquale paid everyone else. Then I'd ride home to dinner with my parents, sleep, and head off to work on my mower again. Once or twice Grandma came over for dinner. "I see you're making good use of that old mower. Which reminds me, Maggie Doyle and I are going to take a pottery class through the senior center this winter." She nodded happily and reached for the rolls. Even in my exhaustion, I noticed the glance my parents exchanged over the salad bowl. "But don't work too hard," Grandma smiled at me. "Is that grass in your hair?" I had grass everywhere, in my socks, in my cereal bowl, every morning, on my toothbrush. My shoes were stained green. I couldn't smell anything but fresh cut grass, and I dreamed about endless lawns and enormous piles of clippings. I found myself thinking about how to best lean into turns so that the mower wouldn't leave rough patches that needed to be trimmed by hand. I spent a great deal of time wondering if I could rig an umbrella to the mower to keep the sun off my face. Not because I minded the heat, but because when I squinted, I made the rows uneven. I dug through old copies of Sports Illustrated to look for pictures of Major League ballpark outfields, so that I could study the patterns the ground crews left behind in the nap of the grass. But mostly, the work cycle took over, and I'd kind of missed the bigger picture. Until one morning, I put it to work, and there were 5 pickup trucks and more people, all with mowers and bags and rakes. About then, Arnold and I sat down. He said, "It's inefficient to have you all meet at my place every morning, and besides, the neighbors are starting to wonder why so many people congregate here." So we decided to send everyone directly to their job sites from their homes, and I'd go around with Lewis in his truck and supervise and collect the money to bring back to Arnold, who would give Pasquale his share and put mine in my account that was in his name. And it was then That first time that Lewis and I drove around, and I began to see that what was happening was bigger than just a few people running around mowing lawns.